Thank you so much to the first members of the new Movement for Climbers video library. I've been overwhelmed with the response and support from all of you. I have a bit more news to share with you at the end of this video. You probably followed this channel to receive sound technical climbing advice. In this video, I'm going to say screw it and give you some instances where you can and should break some of the most conventional rules in climbing. These are rules that will serve you well about 80% of the time, but knowing that 20% to break them will open quite a few doors. We'll start with the most common rule, cutting feet. Rule: we should always keep our feet on. They take so much weight off our hands that cutting feet puts us at an extreme disadvantage. This is a very sensible rule and applies to most of climbing. It's especially important in the beginner phases while you're still learning good technique and avoiding bad habits. In fact, given the climber and context, cutting feet can look either incredibly impressive or just plain foolish. So when is it okay to cut feet? When it saves you energy by reducing the overall time under tension. Sometimes it can take you more energy to complete a sequence keeping feet on than it does with an intentional foot cut. The positioning of the next foothold could be in a tricky spot, and it may take you 5 seconds of time under tension to get your feet sorted compared to the half second it takes to cut. On this yellow V6, releasing the heel hook and trying to walk the feet over on unaccommodating footholds is very awkward and time consuming. The best option for me was to intentionally cut and use the momentum of my swing to carry the right foot over to its final target hold. It's okay to cut feet when it shortens a long, reachy move. This is the more memorable scenario and also abides by the previous principle. If a move is so far that to do it with feet on requires fully extending the body and exerting an incredible amount of tension, then you're most likely better off just cutting feet. It not only shortens the time it takes to perform the move and makes the move easier, but also saves you the energy of having to do it in a high state of tension. Next time you feel like you're getting a little too extended or performing way too many foot movements, just remember, Rule: we should climb with our arms straight as possible. Bending them wastes energy and creates unnecessary muscular contraction. Shout out to Hooper's Beta for highlighting this in their most recent video. This rule does make sense in a lot of ways. We've even assigned the term T-Rexing for people who climb needlessly with bent arms all the time. And there's even a drill called straight arms that teaches people how to reposition their bodies without bending their arms. In its essence, climbing is really all about saving energy. And more often than not, a straight arm is more energy efficient than a bent arm. Alright, so when is it okay to use bent arms? Simply put, when it gains you an advantage in leverage. There are a few situations where this applies. One, when you're arriving in a gas stone. By its nature, a gas stone is done with a bent arm with the elbow flared out. This allows you to leverage the hold by placing your form perpendicular to the pulling edge. Though you are expending a bit of energy by engaging the shoulder, the advantage you gain in fully leveraging the hold is worth the trade-off. If you try to straight arm a gas stone, you'll find that it's incredibly difficult to gain any leverage. 2. Use bent arms when finishing a dynamic move. The components of a dynamic move usually consist of power and momentum. This means you'll be arriving at the target hold with a bit of force and motion. Instead of all that force from the initial contact and subsequent swing going straight to your hands, it's best to dissipate the force by arriving at the hold with bent arms. The bending of the arms more evenly distributes the force into your bigger muscle groups and also acts to shorten the lever of your body swing. Rule: we should always climb using opposite hand and foot. Indeed, humans move naturally in a contralateral manner. We walk, run, crawl, and even climb with opposing limbs. This allows us to distribute tension across our bodies and stay balanced when performing a move. When is it okay to not use opposite hand and foot? Another way to reframe this question is, when is it okay to move off balance from same side hand and foot? There are two common techniques that utilize same side hand and foot. The first is the back flag. This is usually done when a foothold is oriented or positioned in such a way that it makes it uncomfortable to perform an outside flag. On this green V5, I need to move the right hand, but both foothold options for the right foot are impractical. The lower foothold is slanted down and to the left, while the higher one is a bit out of reach. Instead of trying to complicate things and insist on moving from opposite hand and foot, I keep my left foot positioned where it is, slightly back flag the right leg, and move off of my left side. From the back flag position, we sometimes have the option of using a dynamic move called a pogo to advance. On the start of this red V4, I opt for doing a back flag with the right leg and move off of my left hand and foot. Because the left hand is a side pull and not down pulling, I need to generate a bit of momentum to achieve the next hold. By doing a pogo, I compress slightly downward and swing the right side of my body towards the target hold. Ideally, the leg and arm on the same side swing together at the same time to maximize the momentum. We know to typically avoid being on our same side hand and foot because it creates the off-balance sensation called a barn door. But there is a special instance where a barn door can be helpful. When you're climbing a steep section of a wall and want to pause and relax on holds, it's actually more energy efficient to hang from same side hand and foot. By doing this, we can open our bodies up and dangle in a minimal tension state. If we tried the same position using opposite hand and foot, it would rotate our bodies back towards the wall and cause us to create tension to hold our position. You can try this out for yourself next time. This is especially helpful on roof sections of a sport climb. Shout out to my mentor Toru for this key insight. Rules can be hard to follow, and exceptions can add even more complexity. Hopefully this video inspired you to a greater sense of freedom and offered you a few more tools to express yourself. I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes that perfectly captures the learning process. Before I studied the art, a punch to me was just a punch, a kick just a kick. After I learned the art, a punch was no longer a punch, a kick no longer a kick. Now that I've understood the art, a punch is just a punch, a kick just like a kick. The height of cultivation is really nothing special. It is mere simplicity, the ability to express the utmost with the minimum. Until next time, move better, climb harder. It's been 2 weeks since we launched the premium video library at movementforclimbers.com, and we've had way more members signed up than we expected. We've released 2 new videos since then, and here's what some members are already saying. From JS, I already feel way more confident on overhang routes because of this video series. Trevor says, I went from muscling up the wall to feeling more natural. And Sudarshan says, I enjoy the bite-sized videos that focus in on a single digestible topic. Sion's method of explaining is great. Oh, thank you. The first 100 member spots filled up extremely fast, and I had many of you reaching out about our 40% early bird discount. Unfortunately, that discount is over. However, I've decided to give out one last discount for early members. Use the code CLIMBHARDER for 30% off your first 2 periods. This special deal is again only available to the first 100 members who claim it. The last deal was gone shortly after the announcement videos, and this will be the last early bird deal, so don't miss out. This membership comes with a 7-day free trial and 30-day money-back guarantee. Come see if it's right for you. If you haven't improved your climbing in 30 days or you find it's just not what you were expecting, let us know why so we can improve. And we'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. Altogether, that's 37 days risk-free. Head to movementforclimbers.com and use the code CLIMBHARDER to save 30%. I've also included the link and code in the video description below.